revert to being a Massachusetts white lady?
Well, I don't know. I think it was a return to form because she sort of became famous on the national stage by saying she wants to stand up to the Wall Street.
For a lot of women. More important.
Is that David? Is that the off of David?
Yeah, so this was maybe part of the course. But it maybe makes sense for her to do that. But I'm not sure that I'm not sure that they weren't for the most part coached. Simply not to stand up for anything, right? And maybe there are like one or two exceptions, but I think the broad idea was simply not to approve.
Yeah, well, of course. This year, last year, if you remember last year, they had stupid signs that they would hold up, and they didn't stand for anything, and even things that should have been universal applause across the aisle, they stood with their arms closed looking angry about. So I think they received the political backlash about that. What about how he handled the Supreme Court topic? I thought that was good. Half of me was expecting him to disparage the Supreme Court.
I didn't hear what he said. What did he say? He said bad decision, but he didn't attack the court.
I thought that was good too.
What about the guy who got escorted out for his sign?
Oh,
anybody catch what it said?
No. Reiterate. Tell the whole story.
So Al Green was escorted out after holding up a sign that read, "Black people aren't apes," making a repeated disruption very early on during the...
He got kicked out last year.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. He's from Louisiana?
No, Al Green is Texas.
Texas.
Oh, Texas. Yeah.
He got kicked out last year also.
Sorry to insult you by comparing you to Louisiana, Marshall. But yeah, he did get kicked out. He's crazy. He said, "Save Medicare, save Medicaid." At least we were spared the spectacle of Nancy Pelosi having a meltdown on national television. That was so freakish when she tore up her copy of the speech.
Was AOC there?
I did not see her.
I didn't see her, but I saw Democratic Rep, what's her name, Omar, and the one from Michigan.
Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib.
And they were screaming at him, you should be ashamed. And they in the audio that you guys were broadcasting, they're drowned out. But on Fox News, they were showing each of the people he was talking about as he was making a point about them. And so those two women, as they're screaming your like obscenities and saying that you should be ashamed and all this stuff, they're showing them the whole time. So I was like watching them like screaming at him.
I was watching my old employer, CBS News, and they had them on camera front and center too.
Yeah, I was watching the CBS feed also. Rashida Tlaib should be ashamed of herself for wearing a pin that said "fuck ICE" on it. Not because she's not allowed to have a message, but I remember when I was in grade school, we used to get extra credit if we stayed up and watched the State of the Union and wrote a book report about it. So there's children watching this show.
Well, the line that the Republicans are using is that the Democrats are crazy, and they're not disproving that. He used the line, I think they're workshopping the line. I mean, that was crazy behavior. Pointing and yelling. It was nuts.
Yeah. I will say this for Omar and Tlaib. At least they went. They're the opposing side. They're obviously antithetical to everything about Trump, but at least they showed up.
I did see one of the representatives bragging about how she was going to skip the State of the Union and how her constituents were supporting her in her decision to boycott. And I was just like, you're hired to do a job. You should be there. You should represent. You're a representative.
I thought it was a stroke of genius to force all the Democrats to rise and salute when he gave out 2 medals of honor. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was freaking brilliant.
It was tremendous. It was tremendous. And the veterans and the 100-year-old pilot.
Are we gonna listen to the Democratic response that's on now?
Wait, put the link in the chat. Put the link in the
Tremendous. It's not going to be long. It'll probably only be 20 minutes.
Who's giving the
Let's
response?
listen to it. I mean, it's not going to be very visual.
Vero, can you play it, or are you not able to?
Who's giving the response to Raisa?
Yeah, where do I find it?
Abigail Spanberger, Virginia governor.
This is going to be a
Jew.
Abigail Spanberger. Sorry, I just had a smoke.
Has nothing to do with her being Jewish. It's just she's going to fuck it up.
Wait, what? Why did you mention?
Someone
that
said.
you got a Jew?
Someone said she's a Jew. So I was like, hey,
No,
it's nothing.
no, I was talking to them. Maybe we misheard. Whoever they were. People are really fascinated by us. I just think it's amazing. I never knew I was so stuck into Clubhouse. Anybody want to try to filter fish? I'm willing to host you.
No, I'm going to pass on that one, bud. I'm really going to pass on it. Everybody wants to
Give it to me, Norm. That's not our best culinary export, Norm.
That's not our shining moment there.
There was sturgeon. No, we're good, man. We don't have to eat it. On behalf of the Irish, I'm thankful for the corned beef. We're good. Like, we'll just stop there.
I shared a matzo ball with my girlfriend, and she'd never had one before, and she said, "This is what a matzo ball is? It's just a bunch of dough." It's like, I'm not eating this. we don't shine when it comes to cuisine.
I don't know.
Potato pancakes aren't the bad.
Yeah, they're not bad.
You go to a Jewish deli to get sandwiches, so I don't know.
For
man.
sure.
Best in the world.
That's good. The corned beef is really good.
Does anybody have a link for Vero to play the Democratic response?
I'll find it. No.
I wonder why the Dems picked her. I mean, she's not necessarily the weakest Dem that needs the most support, but I mean, she's not the safest.
In our nation's capital.
Okay, I sent it to you, Vero.
Maybe she's a prospective candidate for higher office.
She couldn't win.
No, she's a real woman.
I'm having audio
Oh.
issue.
Here, I got it.
Yeah, do it.
It's Rubio and Newsom.
History of the world. Americans deserve to know that their leaders are focused on addressing the problems that keep them up at you live, whether you can afford to start a business or whether you have to skip a prescription in order to buy groceries. So I'll ask again. Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? We all know the answer is no. I grew up in a house of servants. My mother was a nurse, and my father was a career law enforcement officer. I began my career by following in my father's footsteps as a federal agent, working money laundering and narcotics cases. I worked side by side with local and state police to keep our community safe and to uphold and enforce the law. Law enforcement officers across the country know that it is a unique responsibility to do the serious work of investigating crimes, comforting victims, and and making arrests. It's about building trust, and that requires an abiding sense of duty and commitment to community. And yet, our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans. And they have done it without a warrant. They have ripped nursing mothers away from their babies. They have sent children, a little boy in a blue bunny hat, children to far-off detention centers, and they have killed American citizens in our streets. And they have done it all with their faces masked from accountability. Every minute spent sowing fear is a minute not spent investigating murders, crimes against children, or the criminals defrauding seniors of their life savings. Our president told us tonight that we are safer because these agents arrest mothers and detain children. Think about that. Our broken immigration system is something to be fixed, not an excuse for unaccountable agents to terrorize our communities. After working in law enforcement, I continued my career of service as a CIA officer, working undercover to protect the United States and our allies from global threats, terrorism, nuclear weapons, and the aggression of adversarial nations around the globe. But as the president spoke of his perceived successes tonight, he continues to cede economic power and technological strength to Russia, bow down to China, bow down to a Russian dictator, and make plans for war with Iran. Here's the truth. Over the last year, through DOJ, mass firings, and the appointment of deeply unserious people to our nation's most serious positions, our president has endangered the long and storied history of the United States of America being a force for good. So I'll ask again, is the president working to keep Americans safe, both at home and abroad? We all know the answer is no. In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor. And sometimes he succeeds. And so you have to ask, who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting. He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot. So I'll ask again, is the president working for you? We all know the answer is no. But here's the special thing about America. On our 250th anniversary, we know better than any nation what is possible when ordinary citizens, like those who once dreamed right here in this room, reject the unacceptable and demand more of their government. We see it in the determination of students organizing school walkouts all across the country, whose voices are becoming so powerful that the governor of Texas seeks to silence them. We see it in the bravery of Americans in Minnesota standing up for their communities, from peacefully protesting in sub-zero temperatures to carpooling children to school so that their immigrant parents are not ripped away from them in the parking lot. As a mother of 3 school-aged daughters, I am inspired by their bravery, but I am sickened that it is necessary. And Americans across the country are taking action. They are going to the ballot box to reject this chaos. With their votes, they are writing a new story, a more hopeful story. In decided they wanted something different. Our campaign earned votes from Democrats, Republicans, independents, and everyone in between, because they knew as citizens they could demand more, that they could vote for what they believe matters, and that they didn't need to be constrained by a party or political affiliation. This is happening across the country. New Jersey elected Mikey Sherrill as governor in a double-digit victory. Democrats flipped state legislative seats in places like Georgia, Iowa, Mississippi, and Texas. The list goes on and on. Ordinary Americans are stepping up to run in the spirit of our forefathers. They are running to demand more and to do more for their neighbors and communities. I know this story well. I first ran for office in 2018 alongside dozens of other Democrats who did the seemingly impossible, flipping 41 seats in Congress. In my case, I was the first Democrat elected in 50 years, swinging our district 17 points. Those who are stepping up now to run will win in November because Americans, you at home, know you can demand more, and that we are working to lower costs. We are working to keep our communities and our country safe, and we are working for you. In his farewell address, George Washington warned us about the possibility of, quote, cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men rising to power. But he also encouraged us, all Americans, to unite in a common cause, to move this nation forward. That is our charge once more, and that is what we are seeing across the country. It is deeply American and patriotic to do so, and it is how we ensure that the state of our union remains strong, not just this year, but for the next 250 years as well, because we the people have the power to make change, the power to stand up for what is right, the power to demand more of our nation. May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and may God bless the United States of America.
I have 2 points to make. One microphone wants it.